and for many people who are not Latinos, going to college is like a social, it's a rite of passage, like a social experience. You go to college and you drink a lot, I don't know, all those things that we hear about experiencing college. It's not like that for these Latinos who went to these community colleges. They had another plan, in their heads. They thought that the community college would give them these skills that they need for the next step. All of the ones that I interviewed had in their mind to go to a foreign institution, to transfer eventually. They didn't know what they were going to do it, but that was the plan from the very beginning. But they didn't exactly know how to do that, how they were going to go about doing that. So, but they all wanted to have a career, and they all thought that the community college was going to prepare them and to offset their lack of preparation. So what did they do? They experimented sometimes with courses. They were not sure what to take, so they took a course there, a course here. They might take, or they might come thinking they want to be a nurse, whatever. And then once they're there, they discover, education. They didn't want to become teachers, so they had to begin to take all the classes. Sometimes their plan was like they would take classes that would fit like both. For example, I had a student that was taking chemistry and microbiology because she was between being a nurse or being a teacher. So those classes kind of helped her to eventually choose one or the other. So what I'm saying is that they didn't come prepared, and I suppose most college students don't come ready to go into a career. But the way that they prepared themselves was very strategically, not spending time, doing other things. I think, let's see, I'm going to continue to move on because I want to give you a chance to ask questions. Another thing that was part of what they told me is this idea of self-efficacy. And these students really felt very self-confident, all right, and really trusted their abilities, their cognitive abilities to make it to college, right? First of all, they thought that just by getting to community college, just by taking the classes, passing the classes, that was a great achievement for them, because a lot of people didn't think they were even going to get there. So this was, for them, it meant a lot. It really gave them a lot of feeling of confidence that they could succeed, and then go into a baccalaureate grant institution. It's interesting that they didn't feel like, because they were all of them were minority in their campuses. Most of the campuses where they were had mostly either African Americans or white students. So they were minority, but they didn't feel that incongruency that we sometimes hear, some Latinos speak about, especially those who start not in community college, but the regular, four-year colleges. In fact, they thought that they were important for the environment because they brought this multicultural perspective that otherwise might not be there. They added, to the cultural diversity of the campus. So they really felt that they were very valuable in participating in that environment. And again, they felt that they were getting a greater value for the investment, the financial investment that they were making by going to the community college. Another experience was an experience of continuously strategizing. When you don't have money, you just have to really, sometimes you have to cover. How does they say in English? Uncover Peter to cover Paul or something, or the opposite, to cover Paul to cover Peter.
To pay Paul.
Yes. Still, I guess in my country we say uncover. There you go. Still, that's much better. So, most of the time, because they're undocumented students, they were not eligible for financial aid. So they could not, fill out the FAFSAs and all of that stuff. They had to be out of pocket. They were not eligible for scholarships. And the majority were experiencing throughout the time that they were in college, they experienced this fear of not being able to pay the bills, just not being able to pay tuition. Sometimes the way that they try to handle this is, for example, they will go full-time and work full-time, both. That was insane, of course. And by then, the first year, most of them could not carry on in their way. Just imagine working full-time and then going to college full-time. It's basically impossible, so they had to drop out or they ended up getting not so good grades. Or sometimes they could take like the course that were easy, easier, first, and then we have the more difficult courses, for later on. One interesting thing is that we think that part of the college experience is to integrate in college, right? To be part of the college life and be part of student groups and all of that. And that's great. That's definitely important. These students really did not have time for that, right? There's just no way that they could work, go to school, take their families, etc., and then still be part of the campus environment, unless they were going to further their career goals. They were very strategic in their way. So, for example, when a student was telling me, this was another student who was going to get this nursing degree, she became part of the College Nursing Association just because she felt she could do some more networking through them. And was really, for her future. So there was all this planning, going around in her head. Oh, I should be reading this. The self-efficacy that I told before, these are things that the students told me. I'm perseverant, I'm determined, I don't give up easily. In terms of the strategizing, that would give a little bit of the flavor of how difficult things were. Actually, I should have finished, but I can't take more. The most I took in the semester is 4 classes, which is a lot, and working full-time, and coming to school full-time, it was horrible. I was able to get a B in my classes, but I used to cry all the time, because it is so much. A lot of pressure and a lot of stress. Somebody else said, this person described to me how they would, go to work and come to school, go back to. So what I do is, instead of leaving work at 4:30 like I usually do, I told them if I can start at 7 in the morning, 1 hour earlier, and then come back at 2, and it's 10 to 6 instead of 4:30, so I can make my 8 hours. So the person was going to work, come to college, come back to work, and that was their daily life. Moving on to sense of purpose. Is this going too fast? No. I speak really fast. I hope that you understand 2 or 3 words at least. My students tell me that they take 2 weeks to understand it. Most of them are not Latinos. I expect you to understand. Anyway, so sense of purpose. We're talking about this sense of belonging to the campus that seems to be so important in college. And part of this, of being college, or the college experience, and part of this belonging is again how we integrate with, different things in the college. For my students, what they said that what really drove them, to like college was the sense of purpose that they had brought with themselves. And the sense of purpose had to do with helping their families, helping their community, make a contribution to the world. I think somebody said just like that. I've been doing it for my parents, especially my father. Just the way my parents talked to me about school, I always knew that my dad wanted to have a career, but he couldn't. Because if my dad had the means, he would have been able to put himself through school. He would have done it. And it's not the money. I'm not doing it for the money. I've talked to a lot of people who actually finished college. They are now working their fields, and they went to school for years, but they hate it. I don't want that. What I want is to know what is my unique contribution to the world. That was a very ubiquitous thing to say, that I heard from these participants. So this idea of doing a meaningful contribution, being a role model, make a difference, I guess, in the life of others. And the other thing that I also hear a lot sometimes from other people, from faculty, is that that this poor girl, or this poor guy, whatever, they have to work for to support their families and the parents, so they can't really come to school full time, or they have to leave because they didn't have a babysitter. People think about, I think they interpret what the difficulties that we Latinos have as a burden. But none of my students talk about their families as a burden. They were proud, they were happy, they were able to do those things for their families, and that they wanted to be, they wanted to better their